Hello and welcome back to the MLB DFS slate breakdown for Wednesday, July 31st. We are here breaking it down. We got 5 games to go over on tonight's main slate. There's already a 7-game slate going, so I hope you got those lineups in and good luck on the early slate. And let's crush this late slate. Before we get into it, come join us at LineStar. $39.99 per month gets you access to everything we do, all the props, all the DFS, and all the best ball, which now there's football all season with best ball. Best ball contests are going. They've been going since late or mid-April, and they're going to continue to go all year now. All right, let's get into it. We will start with the perfect lineups from yesterday, followed by the winning lineups for both sites, and then we will get into today's slate, going over the pitchers to consider, some high-owned, some pivots, and followed by stacks, kind of trying to go over everybody a little bit. Now, let's get into the perfect lineup on FanDuel. Go back to yesterday here. We have Sean Manaea as the pitcher you needed, which was just wild. He put up a giant number, 7 innings, 11 Ks. Got the win, got the quality start, no earned runs, only gave up 2 hits versus a good offense. And then hitting-wise, we had a 2-man Seattle stack and all one-offs after that. Kind of surprised it's only one-offs because the Diamondbacks put up 17 runs, but Suarez just had a game. 3 home runs. He went 4 for 6, 4 runs, 5 RBIs, put up 69. He was just an absolute must-have last night with that giant score to have a chance to win. And then the winning lineup went to Hunter Brown, who was the chalk pitcher. And then we had a 4-man Arizona stack, 3-man Seattle with a one-off of Shohei Ohtani, who didn't even do that much. But it was really just having those, nailing that stack. That 4-3 stack just went nuts because Polanco had a huge game. Dylan Moore had a huge game. Robles did enough. And Arizona just putting up 17. I mean, Suarez pulled the 4-man stack up a little bit. And, Moreno had a good game. But quite the day for them. Now let's get over to DraftKings and check that one out. Oh, also, congrats to Roranosaurus Flex. And perfect lineup. On DK, we got Sean Manaea and Ryan Nelson. Ryan Nelson was another pitcher that had a huge game, 7 innings, no earned runs, 9 Ks, just got slightly outshined by Manaea. And then the perfect lineup for hitters was all one-offs, but used way less than the salary. So you're never going to get this lineup exactly. On DraftKings, the the winning lineup went to SF Fish 420. That is the third 420 winner in a row. And they nailed the pitchers. Super low owned Ryan Nelson and Sean Manaea just went nuts. And then have a 2-man Cincy stack and all one-offs. They didn't even have Suarez, but guess you don't need Suarez if you nail the pitching like this that was that low owned. Devers went nuts. Pretty interesting lineup. I do not know how they landed on all these guys, but congrats to you, SF Fish 420. You got it done. You won by 7 points. Aha Bro was second. He had Sears and Glasnow. Both did decently. And he had, 5-man stack with 3 one-offs. That is generally what he does is 3 one-offs. Occasionally it's 5-2-1, but one-offs is definitely his priority. Now, let's get into today's slate and check this out a little bit. So, highest owned pitchers, Framber Valdez, 39% owned. It is a 5-game slate, so pitching ownership is going to be a little bit higher Framber's been absolutely dealing lately. Went 6.1 for 10 Ks against the Dodgers. Now he's got Pittsburgh with how well he's been pitching. Pittsburgh is hitting well recently, but I still like my chances with Framber in this spot. You can definitely do a leverage stack of Pittsburgh, and leverage is going to be very key today, trying to find some with a smaller slate here. But if I had to put money on it, I'd say Framber gets the better of Pittsburgh today. But who knows what can happen. Next, we got Davis Daniel, 7,700. I think he's a little pricey. He's not that great. He is in a very good spot versus the Rockies, but I do have to remind you that over the last 20 games, Rockies have actually been hitting decently. 205 ISO, 146 WOBA. I don't mind actually stacking the Rockies today, especially if Davis Daniels is this cheap. I'm not a big fan of Davis Daniel. Next, we got Logan Webb versus the Athletics. This is another team that has been hitting very well in the short term. Logan Webb is just a dominant pitcher. At 8,600, I like getting to him quite a bit. We do have a little issue with the upside for him. He's just not a big-time strikeout guy. So if his price was a little bit up, I'd be totally off him. But mid 8Ks on a slate that pitching is kind of thin, I very much like Webb, and I'd be trying to get to a little bit of him. Oakland is hot, though, but Logan Webb is better at home, and it's 60 degrees in San Francisco. The stadium minimizes the wind impact. I absolutely would be playing some Logan Webb today. Next, we got Dylan Cease, and I got to say, shout out to my Padres. Huge comeback yesterday, down 5-0, and coming back to win in the 10th was just great. This team is rolling right now. Dylan Cease has been unreal lately. If you look through his last 3 outings, that is 22 innings pitched and 2 hits given up, along with 30 Ks. The guy has been unreal lately and hard to jump off that bandwagon. The one thing I will say, watch this Dodgers lineup today. We're not too sure who's going to be in it yet, but this lineup has been struggling because a lot of their main pieces are out. Muncy's still out. Freeman isn't back in the lineup yet. Will he be back in the lineup today? I'm not too sure. Mookie Betts is still on the IL. The team has been hurting offensively in what they've been putting out there outside of, Ohtani and Teoscar pretty much is not very good. So and Will Smith, you got to put him in the good hitter category. So if that's the case and they have to go to a lineup like that once again, I don't mind taking some Cease. It is still a dangerous offense. They still have the ability to put up runs, but Cease has been pitching unreal. And I would say a big key to this slate is likely how that Dodger lineup looks. Next, Nick Lodolo, 9,200. I don't really love it. It's in Great American Small Park. It's warm. He is a ground ball pitcher, so that works for him, but he's averaging 75% less fantasy points at home. I just don't like the spot for him. On such a small slate, if I get to a little bit, fine. I'm definitely not pushing him in. Kyle Freeland, 6K. He's been pitching well lately, and he's in a very good spot versus the Angels, so I think you could do worse than going down to his value spot, especially if you want to pay up for one of those other pitchers. You can really stack some bats in that case. Ross Stripling, he's up to 77 pitches here. He can occasionally put it together, but I'm just not going to bet on that happening today. I think the likelihood is very small. Kershaw, 72 pitches last time out. They're going to be very, very careful with him. This Dodgers team's beat up. They need him healthy for the playoffs. 85 pitches is probably his max, and personally, I'm just not going there. Against a team like the Padres where your upside is limited, there's just no way I'm going to go to Kershaw when his pitch count is also limited. Woodford, Hendricks, I am going to let you take them. I'm going to just move on. Now, let's get into some FanDuel ownership. Dylan Cease, our highest owned over here. He is 11K, though, and it is versus a Dodgers matchup. I would be very, very wary of this Dodgers lineup that comes out before I want to push a ton of Cease at 11K in at 40% owned. I don't mind just going to Framber at 9,500, save 1.5K, and have a little less ownership and in a better matchup. I also don't mind just going down to Logan Webb. Logan Webb, when you get the quality start bonuses, you get the win bonuses, he looks much, much better on FanDuel than he does on DraftKings, and I would definitely be willing to go there. And unfortunately, this is one of those days where there's really not much I like outside of that, so I'm probably pretty much sticking to those three. It's going to be a little chalky, and I'm going to have to find a way to get different with my bats a little bit on FanDuel. Now, let's check out our stacks. View stacks. And our highest value play is San Francisco versus Ross Stripling. I think that makes a lot of sense. Fitzgerald's been going nuts. They have some young guys that can hit. Pittsburgh versus Framber is an interesting one. So our value is saying that is going to play nice. Now, Framber is a high-owned pitcher, so stacking some Pittsburgh is going to give you major leverage, which, if it happens, it's going to push you up the leaderboard. However, I will say it is a lower chance of happening. I do prefer the Angels versus Kyle Freeland. I think that has a higher chance of actually working out. Or, that Giants lineup we talked about. Now, let's go into the highest owned stacks. See what we got here. Cincinnati versus Kyle Hendricks. No surprise. We got a 5.4 FIP over the last 20, 6.26 over the last 5. Hendricks can occasionally have very good games, but Great American small park. Got some hitters that can definitely do some damage. Not really that surprised that Cincinnati is this high owned. Now, when we're getting over 100% ownership on one stack, I very much start to worry. There's also some weather concerns in this one, so we really need to watch this spot. I like Cincinnati, but I'm just not really trying to pay that kind of ownership. Angels are popping up a little bit as well, and let's check our highest projected. We got Cincinnati all over the highest projected. Guess that's not that much surprise in this matchup with a few good pitchers. And our highest ceiling is going to go to Oakland versus Logan Webb. Logan Webb has struggled the last 5 with a 5.7 ERA, but his FIP at 3.65 tells me he's been pitching way better. Now, Oakland's been hitting well. So can they do it? Absolutely. Do I think the likelihood is that they do it? Probably not. Cincinnati's popping up a little bit also, as well as San Diego. Kershaw's still working back, so he might only go 4 innings again. And if so, you get a lot of bullpen to go after. And Padres got some excitement around them. They're hitting well. They're playing well. They're playing good baseball right now, so I guess it's a little consideration there. All right, our highest implied run total is Cincinnati, and it is 0.5 higher than the Angels. No surprise that Cincinnati is the stack, that's going so high owned. Our highest projected, one of our highest ceilings. A lot of reasons to go with Cincinnati. Angels versus Colorado, 4.6 implied run total. Freeland's allowing a lot of hard contact, and the bullpen's terrible behind him. So there's definitely a path to success for the Angels. Houston versus Woodford. Woodford, frankly, just isn't good. I think Houston bats are very good. And when an offense like that in a decent spot is going under-owned, I really like to push that. So I think Houston's in a very good spot. Cincinnati is in one of the better hitting parks. with hitting weather. It's just Lodolo can be decent. He is a guy that generally has a lower ERA than FIP and somehow just kind of gets it done and pieces starts together, not really getting blown up. And then the Cincinnati bullpen is pretty good. So don't love the spot for the Cubs. Willing to get to a little bit, not going overboard. San Francisco versus Stripling makes a ton of sense. Colorado versus Davis Daniel. I know Daniel is a little high owned on DraftKings. I love this Colorado leverage spot. The bullpen behind Daniel isn't great. Daniel himself has been kind of average in the MLB, so I don't mind getting there. Any other leverage spots here? You could do Pittsburgh, LA, or Oakland. There's reasons to believe in any of them. Oakland does have the fact they're going against Webb, who allows 34% hard contact, high average exit velocity, and then the bullpen is bad. So Oakland has a clear path. The Dodgers versus San Diego. This bullpen hasn't been good, but over the trade deadline, their bullpen got significantly better. Even though these numbers say that, this bullpen is way better than what it is saying at this point. And then Dylan Cease's been very good. Now, Ohtani, Hernandez, several guys in that lineup can absolutely get it done, but there's like 5-6 guys in this lineup that are likely not very good. And then Pittsburgh versus Houston. If Framber gets lit up, which he can, it becomes interesting. Those are your leverage spots. Interesting short slate tonight. I'm not going to be back doing a show tomorrow. It is only a 3-game afternoon slate. So I will see you Friday. Good luck, guys. Let's win some money and see you Friday. Peace. Please like, comment, and subscribe.